Good, good. Just wanted to start with Jay Toya. He got hurt during the game
He
and
did.
was on crutches. Any update on him?
Yeah, he'll be unavailable today.
Just the interior in general. I mean, Gary and Keanu, didn't see them on the participation report. How are they doing right now?
They're doing good. Keanu played.
Oh, did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Double-digit snaps. I know he played. Keanu played a lot.
With the interior so thin, we did see a lot of guys who usually play edge, or Carl Jones. All the Murphys, Jones, and Latu did a lot of work in the late part of that game. Is that going to be the game plan against Cal?
Every game plan's different, but I think when you're playing SC and you're playing Caleb Williams, there's a little bit different plan going into playing against him because of his ability to extend plays. You're trying to get speed on the field, trying to get your pass rushing group on the field. USC's offense is more pass than run. So it depends. We did the same thing when we played Cam Ward from Washington State. Used a similar type of plan when you're playing those type of guys. You don't use that plan when you're playing the Oregon States of the world. And then obviously I think when you're playing Cal, they're a really balanced football team. And Jade Knott is an outstanding running back, so you're not going to get the same play differential in terms of run pass from Cal that you're going to get from a Washington State or USC. So everything we do game plan wide is a week specific thing in terms of who we're playing. So.
After looking at the film, anything stand out or impress you?
Yeah, I just thought our overall team in all phases. I think we had 5 touchbacks. Our punt team had us down on the 9, down on the 1. So I thought special teams did a really nice job. Our defense coming up with 3 takeaways was an outstanding job. 2 caused fumbles and the interception by Devin I thought was outstanding. But it was, I think both sides of the ball complemented each other. We ran the ball well against them. I think TJ had 142. I think Garbs kept some plays alive on third down. We made some big runs on third down. But I think we stayed on schedule. We converted in the red zone. So everything we talked about trying to get accomplished going into that game that we knew we had to do, we did. So I think all 3 phases played really, really well. And the energy and the juice that those guys showed up with was awesome. So
You talked about how you make final decisions on Fridays, but with the several quarterbacks being injured, how difficult has it been to game plan for each game each week?
Yeah, I don't look at anything as a difficulty. That's just what's the situation this week, and then how do we work through it? So you don't look at some as I don't think the word difficulty ever comes up in terms of how we look at things. That's just the nature of the game, and it's no different than what every other team goes through. And it may not be at that position, but it may be at other positions. So, it's the nature of it. I mean, knock on wood, we've been relatively healthy as a football team throughout the course of the year in terms of missed games. We did have a couple quarterbacks banged up, and it was just that position. But our running backs have been healthy, our wideouts have been healthy, our tight ends have been healthy, our offensive line's been healthy, and there's a lot of teams around the country that can't say that. So that's just kind of how it goes every season. You're prepared for it just because it's the nature of the game we play, and it's a physical football game, and not everybody that started the season is going to finish the season.
Going back to TJ, and he's only a sophomore, but what progression or improvement have you seen from year 1 to year 2, and what do you think just the prospect of him long term?
Yeah, we think TJ's outstanding, and he has great vision. He really understands our blocking schemes and knows where to insert or what to anticipate happening. But if it doesn't happen the way it's kind of drawn up, he can make adjustments on that. He's always going north and south. He's not a lose yardage type of guy. Some guys try to bounce around and they're looking to hit a home run. I think TJ is going to run the ball where it's designed to be run, and if it's not, then he's going to make one cut and make a decision in terms of where to get his shoulder square and get us whatever we can. Because sometimes you may have a run play that they have a good run defense called, and the best possibility is a 2-yard gain, but we don't want to bounce and lose it and be -4. So I think he makes really good decisions with the ball. He's been a good ball security since he's been here, and he's really starting to become a weapon in the passing game. Obviously had a touchdown the other day from Garbs and on a big play there when Garbs was scrambling and we had pressure coming off the edge, and TJ slipped out in the flats and we caught him with one. So he continues to improve every day out here and just got a great work ethic. So we're really excited about TJ's future.
After we spoke with you after the game, Ethan mentioned that they basically dedicated that performance to you. I mean, what does that mean to you?
Well, I dedicated our performance to them, so we're all on the same page. I think this team's extremely close, and we love those guys. They love us. There's a neat connection on this football team, and it's you get excited as a coach when you can come to work every day with the group of players that we have here. They're awesome. I think this coaching staff is fantastic. So for all of us, it was all of us collectively making a decision of that. What did we want to look like when we were playing against our crosstown rivals? And I think that's what they did, and I think they represented the school. And I know that the Terry Donahue days when they talked about the gutty little Bruins, I think people saw that that's what this football team is. It's a gutty team. It's a resilient team. They live their life in vision, not circumstance, and that's what we talk about every single day here, and they showed that. Now the challenge this week is last week is over, and then we had to put Arizona State to bed to get ready to play USC. Now we have to put USC to bed to get ready to play Cal, because Cal's a good football team.
Going forward, would you like to see the USC game as the last game of the year in the Big Ten?
There's a lot of things I would like, but I have absolutely no vote. So I know it's rivalry week coming up. Ken Niamatalolo's on our staff, and he mentioned to me, because I wanted to see what the reaction was on Sunday, and I was like, I'm confused, Ken, what do you mean? He goes, well, our game is Army-Navy. He goes, I could never imagine playing a game the week after the Army game, because of what goes into that game. So it's always kind of been like that in the Pac-12. We'll see as we go forward, but I'm a big believer in that if I don't have a vote, then I'm not going to really think about it. So.
You mentioned, how special Latu was the other day.
Yeah.
Considering you guys didn't have him fully available going back last spring, how long did it take you to realize exactly what you had?
Well, we know how talented he was. I mean, we recruited the heck out of him coming out of high school. Like we thought he was going to be a special player back then. And Akaika knew, because Akaika coached him for 2 years up there. And when he became available, there wasn't a lot of, hey, let's look at some tape and figure out what we got. He knew he was a special player. We knew he was a special player coming out. So, and then when you saw him, the one thing about him is, you guys see him. He's bigger than people think. When you roll up on Latu, you're like, wow, that's but for his athletic ability and his ability to bend and move is two really special qualities. And then you see his work ethic, and even though he wasn't participating in the spring, just to see his dedication to this is what you can do, and this is what he did do. I was really impressed with that. So we thought he was going to be a really good player, and then he's taken it to another level because he's special. That one sack he had in the red zone when they doubled him. They put the tackle on him and the running back on him, and he split the two of them and made an unbelievable play on Caleb, and it was it was just a Latu play that only Latu can make. So we're really excited to see him play in this last one here in this last home game against Cal and send him off the right way.
It's obviously earlier in the week and you have a lot game planning to do, but what are your initial thoughts on Cal? What makes them dangerous?
Yeah, I think on offense they're really balanced. They can run the football. Jaden Ott is as good a running back as there is in this league. I think the young quarterback Mendoza has done a really good job. They throw a lot of RPOs off of their run game, so you can't gang up on the run game and say, all right, well, we'll put 9 guys in the box. Well, if they do, the quarterback can make you pay. Jeremiah Hunter's an outstanding receiver on the outside and is really going to draw a lot of attention. Jake Spavital came in and took over as the offensive coordinator this year. He's done a really good job with them offensively, and they've put up a lot of points in a lot of games. And then obviously their defense, Justin's a defensive guy. They're always really well coached. Their scheme is difficult, and he's been successful everywhere he's been, whether he was a defensive coordinator at SC or at Boise or at Tennessee or at Wisconsin or everywhere that he's been, and it stops along the way. And then we obviously know everybody in this league knows how good they are on defense. So they've lost a couple close games. They played Auburn really, really close early in the year. I think it was 14-11. They lost by a point to Southern Cal. So they're a balanced football team on offense. It's going to stretch you both vertically and horizontally, and then they're going to be really sound on defense. So should be a heck of a game on Saturday.
And just thinking, just the whole year in general, it seems like you've, I don't know if sentimental is the right word, but it seems like you've, done a little bit more reflecting this year. Is it a combination of, Bill's passing and everything that's kind of, had you a little bit more vulnerable this year?
We went from sentimental to vulnerable real quick. No, I think it's the last year in the league, and there's a lot of things, and there's a lot of history and tradition, and I love the history and the tradition of college football. Obviously, Billy's passing had an effect on all of us here. But, for this league to be the last game that this league has is sad. I think I grew up in this league as a head coach. My first head coaching opportunity was at Oregon, and there was so much history and tradition. The league's been around since 1915, and the fact that it's not going to be around anymore and everybody's kind of going their different ways is, I like coaching against Kyle Whittingham. That's a challenge, But when I talked to Whit when we were in Utah, and I said, Whit, this sucks. We're not going to play against each other again. And he goes, 2 years, everybody will be back again, and we'll start this whole thing back over again. So you never really know, but I think there's some sentimentalness about just the league in general, just because I think the league has so much history and tradition, and for the fact that we're not going to play Stanford anymore, we're not going to play Cal anymore in the foreseeable future, we're not going to play Utah, we're not going to play the Oregon States, the Washington States, the Arizona schools, I think that's the reality that we're living in, but doesn't mean you have to like it. So, where's Ben?
In Maui.
Oh, you guys need a better job then. All right, we good?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.